Hello.
Good morning, Zlata. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. But a little bit tired because I had a long lesson yesterday in university
A long lesson
um, class.
or a long day?
Uh, a long class
All right,
for
how did your class
for
last?
for 4 hours.
Was it just lecture or was it practical?
Um,
Practical.
we call it practicum. So it is a half. It is the lecture in one part of a class, and in another part we should see different препараты, ну вот microscopic
Oh, what is it called in English even? I don't know. Solutions.
solutions. Yes, so that's why it's so long.
Okay, so in that one sentence, um, three things that I would draw your attention to, right? So that's what you should work on like all the time. Um, so it's first of all, uh, expanding your vocabulary, and we should talk about how to do that. You could have started the sentence with "it consisted of." So you could say, "Oh, the day was really long. We had a practicum. It consisted of."
Mhm.
Yeah, and then you list. It consisted of a lecture part and then a practice part. Yeah. Then modal verbs. What I wanted you to do the exercises on. You again used should. You should have said we needed to, or we
Mhm.
had. Should нам стоило бы, а не мы должны были. And then the last thing, you used the present tense instead of a past tense. And I can't remember what exact example it was. You, in your previous, when you did your talk about uh, the White Sea, you did lots and lots of, there were lots of examples when you didn't use past tense. So just be very careful about using the past tense. And obviously the modal verbs, there was a lot of shoulds. You just use should all the time. There's lots of modal verbs. Okay, so um, did you have a look? Did you have a chance to look at Coursera?
Yes, I have a chance.
I had a chance. I
Had
did have.
had.
I had a chance. Yeah. Okay. So, so tell me first of all about your signature strengths. Now that you reviewed them again, what were they?
Um, I choose um, my three strengths that I consider the most important for me. There are social connections, um, helping people, helping and supporting people.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I use them in my life now, and it helps me to um, um, have a lot of people around me who can also help me and give me advices because I um, have a lot of new people due to my cathedra, due to my faculty, um, and we can support each other, and that's why we have a very friendship group. Um,
What's a very friendship group? Very friendly group.
friendly group.
Okay. Um, and you should have gone to social sciences. Should have studied social sciences.
Um, Maybe, but I think that connections can help even in different sciences, because um, there are a lot of things that can based on relationship between people.
Yeah, that's true. I was just joking.
Understand?
And do you remember what exercises you did to um, the course said, if I remember correctly, I think I remember correctly, that we should, instead of what schools and universities, schools particularly, try to do, schools typically identify somebody's weak areas and try to get them to work on those weak areas. And do you remember the video, Trombone Player Needed?
Um, we should increase our strength instead of um try to increase our weeks.
Yeah, we should work on our strengths instead of trying to work on our weaknesses. Yeah, exactly. So this course, I think, tells you the same thing. Once you've identified your key strengths, you should work on them and spend more time putting them into practice. So what was your exercise in the course? Do you remember?
Uh, Exercise.
Well, I'm sure in the course it told you how to. Let's have a look at module one. Um, Measure your happiness and discover your strengths. That was use your signature strengths. Okay, so that's what it said. It said this. Do you remember doing that?
Mm, no, I think I didn't that. I did. I didn't do that.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was about the signature strengths. So let's turn to module 6, right? Module 6, that's the one that you did, right?
Yes, it is.
So what was it about?
Um, it was about some things which we can do to achieve our goals. For example, we want to do yoga every day, but we can't do it because there are a lot of things that can um, um, spend a lot of time instead of this. For example, our work or study. And that's why we should, first of all, understand why we want to do this. For example, we want to get more healthy, and afterward, we should, or we had to, uh, um, uh, think about different obstacles which can um,
Prevent
which can prevent us. Yes,
us from.
and uh, take a list or take a note, if then, and it it is consist of some examples of different things which can um, um, мешать нам, постоянно забываю слово,
Get in the way, prevent us from, stop us
stop us
from,
to um,
stop us from,
stop us
stop us from, yeah.
stop us from getting our goals and
Achieving our goals.
achieving our goals. Um, and these things can help us focus on what we really want and uh, what we can do to achieve this. And there
Okay,
are,
give me a specific example how you, for example, could have implemented that.
um, for example, I want to get an internship to another country, and I should visualize what I really want, and think about different obstacles. For example, um, it may be, it is maybe um, there are different problems with money, with transport to another country, with studying, with my um, with my English, or different problems, and I should um, uh, write them on a paper, inform if then, and understand what I can do to um, uh, to don't get these problems, and
Or
and
give me one specific problem.
mm, for example,
You need to pass, I'll give you an example. You need to pass IELTS or
yes,
another one, or another
uh,
similar. You need to pass an English language test.
I need to pass English test, and I should um, get more practice. I should spend a lot of time to study it, and I should find a place or I should find a university which can maybe getting another exam for me from me.
Okay, so let's focus on one specific obstacle. If the obstacle was, I don't have the time,
Mhm.
what does the science of well-being recommend? How does um, the science of well-being recommend that you deal with that obstacle?
Mm, I can have a plan and find some um, time, for example, when I go to university or when I return from it, and um, study English in um, this short time every day. And also I can um, getting notes or reminders on my table or on my phone, which can help me, um, for example, studying new words every day and don't forget, do it.
Um, and does it not talk about how to work, how to? It seems that it is telling you to work on planning more than working on understanding what's your motivation or. Sorry, hold on just a second. Give me just 1 sec.
Okay.
Окей. Вы открыли все, что нужно? Вы открыли все, что нужно? Внутренняя дверь. Я сейчас на банкете, давайте попозже. Хорошо. Sorry about that. Does it not talk about um, developing your motivation or making something, finding how to make it more interesting so that you create an inner motivation? There's a very interesting book that I read. Um, let me share that with you. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Just tell me the answer. What do you think? Does it not give you anything about developing motivation?
Um, there is an example in the video when a teacher talked about people who want to eat healthy food, and she um, answered what these people have on their table, and there are a lot of people who um, have different chips, candies, and another not healthy food. and she recommended to um, change your environment and, for example, um, getting some things which can focus you on what you really want, and maybe in as for me, I can um, watch different videos or um, write read books or um, maybe, as I say, have some notes on my table with motivation phrases. Um,
Okay,
maybe.
that's interesting. I have, I will give you for your mm, part of the test that you will need to take is about reading comprehension, right?
Mhm,
Um, and let's try, I'll give you this book about atomic habits, which I think is interesting. I'll find it on the internet, and we can use that to practice your reading and reading comprehension. I can give you like little tests after that.
mhm,
But um, just now, I'll send you a little text that proposes an alternative approach to developing habits. So take like 3 minutes to read this text. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. And I will give you I will give you a couple of questions. How are you getting on?
Yes.
You finished?
Yes, I finished.
Okay. So now, hold on, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to send you the questions. There you go. So you can read the question, then you can tell me if it's true or not.
Mm-hmm.
True, false, or fake.
The most effective way to change your habits is to focus on who you want to become rather than what you want to achieve. It's true.
Okay.
Identity change influences the outcomes and processes of habit formation. Um, it's false
Why is it false?
because we shouldn't based on our outcomes and processes and no, it's true because we should change our processes, um, our outcomes, and our identify to become uh, a person who really wants to be.
Okay.
The chapter recommends focusing exclusively on big dramatic.
I think it's false.
The second,
Yeah. Because if you look at the text, in the third paragraph, it talks about 3 levels of change.
mhm,
And your question says, or the statement is that identity changes the outcomes and processes. But how can the last thing change the first 2 things?
mhm. Changing your identity.
So this is an example of a question that you recognize all of the things that are in the text, but you need to think about their relationship.
Mhm,
So be careful about those types of questions. This is a very good question because identity, outcomes, processes, they're all in there.
mhm,
But it's really tricky to understand that identity is the last one, so it cannot influence the first 2.
mhm,
So some true, false, not stated questions ask you just to be able to pick out and remember the information. And if there's a key word, then you can easily answer it's true or false. Some of them ask you to, like the more difficult tests, ask you to interpret the information. Okay, next one.
The chapter recommends focusing exclusively on big dramatic actions to change your identity quickly. It's false because the chapter recommends to get a small step to achieve your goals every
Yeah.
day.
Hmm.
Every small action taken is described as a road towards the type of person you wish to become. Yes, it's true.
Okay.
Um, Motivation alone is sufficient for maintaining long-term habit change. It's false. It's false because we should understand um, what person we want to be to achieve these goals, and we um, have to do some actions based on that every day, do some small
Oh, actually,
actions.
yeah. So,
Uh,
yeah, sorry, go. Yeah, continue.
that's and
No, no, no. I'm gonna continue with question seven.
mhm. Seeing yourself as the kind of person who has the habit makes it easier to maintain that habit. I don't really understand this sentence. Um, so we talk about person who uh, do something which can um, getting which can getting which can get our goal more easier to achieve. Or
Hey,
um, okay, so that's true.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Um, the chapter suggests that habits should be viewed only as results to be achieved. It's false.
Yeah. Why is it false?
Um, because we have to focus on person
Yes.
uh, which we want to be, and this person have some habits
Yeah.
we achieve.
Yeah.
Changing your habits by changing your identity involves proving your new identity with small wins. It's true.
Yeah.
The chapter dismisses the importance of self-image and habit formation. Dismisses, what does it mean?
Отрицает. Dismiss это как бы in literal sense, in the like a boss could tell the employee when he wants the employee to leave the room in a very rude way, you're dismissed. Все, я с тобой закончил. So that's literal, yeah? And in a figurative way, that means you don't accept something. It's the opposite of accept. Accept, dismiss.
So it's false. The ultimate goal of identity-based habits is to have habits become part of your self-perception.
So here's another trick that they use in questions. It's a very easy question, but you just need to realize that there's a new word that appeared in that, a synonym that appeared in that question that you haven't seen before. So what's that new word?
Self-perception.
Yeah, and what's the synonym to that? It's a word that will be in the text usually. Well, always. Because the whole point is that they change the word in the text and they replace it with a synonym to confuse you.
Maybe identity.
Yes. So if you put identity in there, is that easy to answer?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. So that's another trick to use for these questions. If you see a word that's new, try to think, are they trying to replace a word in the text? So rephrasing is what they often use in questions, in true-false questions. Okay, so so these questions, I'm sorry about that. I'll give you some quick summary for you to read. You don't need to have to read it later. You can. I mean, now you can read it later, but just about. You did well because this is complicated. It's a B2 to C1 level. So now that you've read this and worked with the text, you have a good understanding. Tell me, how will you apply that to your goal of learning English? As an example. Could you imagine yourself as a confident student in China who can talk to international students in English? I can tell them about your personal life and also talk about your studies, and who can read all of the materials in English and just start to think in English.
Yes, I have to do this to achieve my goal. And also um, I can understand what habits I should get in my routine to achieve that,
For example,
based on um, person which I really want to be, who I really want to be.
for
Uh,
example, you could combine it with things that are interesting to you. You can find um, a blog or a news source that talks about things that interest you, maybe biology in English, and you could, like, regularly during the week, have a look at new articles that appeared about there on that, because that would be a habit of an English speaking scientist. They would get their news from English speaking sources. So, and it would be their habit to get regular news of new publications, right?
mhm.
I certainly, like, for myself, right? I am very much still a person who is English speaking. If I have a choice, I'd prefer to speak in English. So for me, it's definitely a habit. All of my news I get in English because I like it. That's my identity, right? I'm like half British, so I get all of my news in English. It wouldn't even occur to me to get my news in Russian. I don't even do that. Another habit of an English speaking person, they might, I don't know, that might be too advanced, but I I would set my computer or my phone into English.
Yes, I do
That's
it.
what an English
Yes.
person would do, right? Because in Russian it's a bit difficult, right? So think about that. I will give you the book for you to read. It's not that, it's this sort of text. Okay, so for the last part of our lesson, I want to focus on a bit of grammar. Um, so last lesson, we have identified your modals were a bit rusty. So you worked on that. You did a good job this lesson. Uh, you should try to expand the range. You just used should and have to. Also needed to, could, um, must, depending on the accent that you want to take, right? There's lots of them. So that's just to think about. Just expand it. Um, look at this text again. I will show it to you on my screen. Um, just because is it easier on the screen? Is it bigger?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So I use Perplexity. It's like an AI tool. Um, I know this book, right? So it immediately occurred to me, this book, perfect. So I asked it to give me a summary. What I want you to focus on is how many gerunds this text used. Imagining, for nouns, yeah. Start
Mhm.
by focusing, um, losing, publishing, oh, changing here, clarifying. I mean, like, walking. It seems like every fourth sentence is using gerund. They're used all the time. In your speech, you often use, you don't use gerunds where they're very natural to use, yeah?
Mhm.
So, two main things where gerunds are natural. One of them is if you take a phrasal verb, for example, in here, start by, and they're always followed by gerunds. Let's find another example. This one is that by imagining, it begins by, yeah, that's the phrasal word. Phrasal verb, so imagining falls into there. This is about imagining. I'm not quite sure if that's a phrasal verb, but but usually after the verb, after the preposition, often gerunds follow, like here, by changing. Bollocks. So anyway, and then there is a whole bunch of verbs that take gerunds. For example, you say, you said the chapter recommends to, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the right way of you. That's where the gerunds go. So here it does have that specific example. There we go, recommends making, and there's another example. There's another example. Recommends focusing. So I gave you that exercise a while ago. Let me show it to you again. These are the sort of exercises. Some verbs are followed by gerunds, and some followed by infinitives. It's like all of this that we did in June, you should review.
Mm-hmm.
There's another, I also gave you access to English for Teachers of English. I'm not going to spend time trying to look for it. I'll find this link and I'll give it to you. So anyway, so it's a big, big part of the English language. Using gerunds instead of nouns. In Russian, you would say things like имеется в виду подготовка. In English, you would say this means preparing. Нам нужна качество. Просто работа или причастие. In Russian, use причастие. Просто работая над этим. Simply by working on this. So in Russian, it's like Sometimes причастие, if that's Russian, it's причастие in Russian, работа. I don't know what part of speech is it in Russian.
Mm,
That type of word,
I
рисуя,
also forget.
those types of words, they're gerunds.
Mm-hmm.
So gerunds, usually they're used when you want to introduce some sort of a concept. Usually they are not very specific nouns. Usually they're abstract nouns. Changing, изменение, losing weight, потеря веса. This imagining, it would be like воображая себя. So they very often start sentences when you start a concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
They often follow verbs, and they often follow prepositions when you're talking about concepts. So let's do maybe just now some simple exercises out of the list that I gave you. So, if I use a different browser, try a different browser. Complexity, give it to me. It'll work better. Maybe Agenda Web has crashed. My internet has crashed. Should have been better prepared, but I didn't know what part of grammar we're going to be working on. What is going on? Okay, there we go. Right. So, okay, let's try this. Um, Here's a quiz for you. I think it's too easy because,
Swimming every morning helps improve both mental and physical health.
yeah. So, notice that um, that after helps, it's improve.
Mm-hmm.
Could be to improve, but it's an infinitive. It's not a gerund. So helps is one of those words that takes a gerund, that takes an infinitive. Next.
Reading widely and critically can expand one's understanding of complex topics.
Yeah, that's correct. Notice that after modals like can, it's always the infinitive. can expand without the to.
Uh, Writing daily in a journal allows reflection on emotions and ideas over time.
Yeah.
Um, Starting new habits is challenging, but focusing on small wins makes it easier.
Yeah. Notice that in all of these sentences, the gerund and the couple of words that follow after that form the subject of the sentence. So this whole thing is the subject to the verb. Because remember, in English, it's always SVO, subject, verb, object.
Mhm,
Here it's the same. Focusing, focusing on focusing on small wins. That's the subject.
mhm.
Makes, that's the verb.
Balancing work and leisure requires balancing priorities effectively.
Yeah. Notice that after requires, you take gerund follows. Usually, the general rule of if you use whether after a verb is followed by a gerund or infinitive, if it's like a one-time action or like repeated actions. Bloody hell. What is going on? Sorry, I'll just restart it again. So if you, for example, if I say I like swimming, it would always be um, it would always be a gerund because it's a habit. It's like I do something all the time.
Mhm,
I say I want you to stop talking. I cannot say I want stopping because it's like one action that I require just now. So in requires, yeah, requires balancing. It's like it's always requires. It's not just one time, it's all the time.
Cooking healthy meals at home saves money and improves nutrition.
Mhm.
Practicing mindfulness regularly reduces stress according to research.
Yeah. Sometimes, if there is a good noun, we don't. Well, let me start with this. Sometimes, if there's a definite noun, like saves money, there's no way you can put in a gerund. Yeah.
Mhm,
Um, if it's a good noun that describes a concept, you use the noun. Um, Here, you could have used the noun, requires balance of priorities, but balancing priorities is better. It's just like it's
mhm.
a better. Um, but stress, there is no good word for in gerunds. So part of the gerund is treating them as like new words to learn, really. They're easy to learn because you just add ing to the verb, but it's a completely new word. If you take swimming, right? There's just like plavanie. There's no other word other than plavanie. But in English, it's swimming. It's came out of gerunds. Balancing in Russian балансирование. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Learning new languages increases cultural awareness and opportunity.
Yeah.
Um, Avoiding procrastination demands discipline and careful planning.
Discipline.
Discipline.
Okay. So all of these sentences are gerund introduces a concept, then there's a verb. Yeah. There's another set of gerunds where you use them, right? In here, where it does not introduce a concept. It's just you put in a word that is a noun. So if it's a preposition, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
always a verb, a preposition, so phrasal verb. It's always a gerund. So interested in, talked about. But in other cases, it might be an infinitive or a gerund. So there, think about the rule of what is one-time action. Although it's not like an always rule. Here she admitted stealing, although it was a one-time action. Admitted just doesn't take an infinitive.
Mm-hmm.
So even my rule does not always apply if it's, are you about to cry with so many rules?
What I didn't hear.
Are you about to start crying with so many rules? You look very sad.
Oh no.
But it's a big part of English. Okay, what about this one? Is it a gerund or an infinitive?
I stopped smoke last year.
Smoking,
Smoke.
because it's like a general thing. You do it, you habit.
Mm-hmm.
What about here? You promised.
Call me.
That's a one-time action.
Call me.
To call me. You promised to
To
call me.
call. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This one.
She forgot to lock the door before leaving the
Yeah.
house.
This one.
Mm, they agreed to help us.
Yeah. So now, using this rule, why do you think you should say the chapter recommends doing something and not the chapter recommends to do?
Uh, because it is not one-time action, and the chapter recommended for many people during many time.
Yeah. So the chapter recommended doing something for, yeah, as a habit. So let's do a recap. Let's start with what from last lesson to this lesson. I'll give you a
Um,
hint. Modal verbs.
mhm. Um, I try to use some modal verbs, for example, should and have to, and I have to uh, use them more often and also use some words like uh, needed to, must, and others.
Yeah.
Um, also, I um, start understanding how I can do um, exercise based on texts. Um,
Yeah. What are the two things that we talked about?
what?
What are the two specific things that we talked about?
Um, the first thing is about um, sentences which are um, переформулированы, как
Rephrase.
rephrase. And the second one is about some words which can be synonymous to words in text.
I
And
think that's the same. Let's call it similar to rephrasing. The first thing was interpreting.
mhm,
If you recognize all of the things that are in the question, what's their relationship between each other? Okay. What about the science of well-being? What
uh,
new things did we talk about?
we talked about um, how we can achieve our goals based on our identity, not only on our motivation. And we should understand um, who we want to be and which habits can help us to do this. And
No, the important, no, it's not which can help us, which habits that person has,
yes.
because that's what we are. If
Mm-hmm,
you are a super athlete, you want to go for a walk.
mm-hmm,
So, so it flips it around. It's not that you're forcing yourself and you're going, I must, I must, I must. It's like, I want, I want, I want, because that's what I am. So the
mm-hmm.
question of motivation goes away because you don't need motivation. You like doing the stuff. It's who you are. I think that's the important difference. Because fighting against your own nature is very difficult. If you
Yes, that's
think
true.
of yourself, I'm a lazy person, then it's very difficult to do anything. If you think of yourself, I'm like a super successful scientist that has lots of exciting projects on the go, then you're going to be doing lots of work in the lab. Okay, and the most difficult gerunds. First of all, try to try to use them as much as you can. What key things did you remember about using them?
We use them after prepositions, after
Yeah,
some verbs. Also, when we can't find a good noun for
yeah,
this case
yeah.
sentence.
So see that in lots of Russian speakers, maybe probably all of the speakers, all foreign language speakers, if they can't find a good word, they try to come up with like a really long, complicated structure, and it makes it difficult to understand them. Instead of saying, um, I try to um, I try to form good habits by imagining myself. So imagining, yeah, by imagining myself as that person. I could have said, I try to form good habits by, no, I try to form good habits because I think of myself as that person and then I do in my head. So instead of by, I try to think of myself as that person in my head, I could just say by imagining.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it will make your English, it will make you expressing yourself a lot easier. I use the gerund just there as well. It will make expressing yourself instead of it will make you easier to express yourself. Yeah, it's a lot longer. Okay. Good. So for your homework, um, have another have a further read of this chapter 6. Um, do me another summary of it, but use gerunds because it was difficult to follow your explanation, your summary. It was not easy to understand. Maybe by using gerunds it will become easier. Maybe write out your summary first.
I have written some main part of it, but not all my summary.
Okay. Well, you need to work on your summary because it's a complicated text. The monologue becomes more difficult. So that's one part of the thing. I'll send you the book Atomic Habits, and then I'll give you some questions for that text, and then please do the exercises on gerunds that are from the 1st of June.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll think of other stuff, I'm sure. And think of some habits of becoming that person who you want to be. And then when you have those habits, then your English will like poof, progress.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, have a great day.
And you. Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.